Hello and welcome along to day 3 of the World Snooker Championship here in Sheffield. John Parrott is alongside me. Thank you for your company today. John's going to talk us through all of the morning's action. So we've got 5 players through to round 2. We've got 3 players that will go through today, and we saw 2 final frame deciders last night. What can we expect from today? Well, here is the lineup. So Murphy gets things underway this morning. The Magician currently leads Lu Honghao 9-0. Will we see the first Crucible whitewash for 27 years? The world's top 2 are in action. Mark Selby kickstarts his Crucible campaign against Zhao Jingtong. In the afternoon, we'll see the conclusion of Higgins and Davis. And the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan, plays the first amateur to reach the Crucible, James Cahill. Dave Gilbert and Joe Perry in action later this evening. And we'll see the final session of Selby Zhao at the same time. But of course, everybody is really looking forward to seeing the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan. He is in the form of his life, isn't he? And he's already won 5 tournaments this season.
Yeah, and he seems to be sort of gearing his season up to suit himself. He said in an article I was reading in the paper this morning, he said he's playing to enjoy it and he's enjoying playing. And it's as simple as that. He's coming here, he's got no butterflies or marbles flying around in his head. Everything's in clear. Knows he's got a great chance to win the championship. He's not won this since 2013, which is a surprise. But he's better equipped this year than he has been in the others. And
he's back to world #1. Does that change things?
Well, it's a great feeling walking out doing that. I never managed to do it myself, #2 for 3 years, but never managed to get there. But for him, it will be an unbelievable feeling to be there. And his performances warrant it as well. You know, sometimes you have a ranking list that's slightly askewed by people not playing in all the events, but he deserves to be #1.
OK, well, let's reflect back on yesterday. We nearly saw the first whitewash in 27 years here at the Crucible. Do you remember the first one well?
Well, modesty forbids me. It was a long time ago with Eddie Charlton. But yes, it's funny, as it looked like there might have been 2 in 2 days. So you wait 27 years and a bit like buses, they come too along. But yeah, Murphy was very impressive yesterday. Thankfully for Michael Giorgio yesterday, he managed to win 1 frame against Neil Roberts and made a 90 break, which was great to show everyone. I mean, obviously, the Aussie wrapped it up in the next frame with, I have to say, an unbelievable clearance. OK, he'd already won, but the balls he knocked in at the end was fantastic. But I was pleased for Michael to win a frame.
I love the reception from the crowd. You almost feel that made a difference, especially going into that frame, because everyone was really behind him.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, we know Michael's a very good player, and just to qualify for this year's championship is an achievement. 3 matches to get here, you've got to be a good player. He just didn't do his stuff. He didn't settle down first session, but I was pleased he made a 90 break there.
Well, we could still see the first Crucible whitewash in 27 years because Shaun Murphy has that incredible lead over Lu Honghao. 9-0 he goes into this session. He
was hugely impressive in the opening session, probably hit the ball as well as anybody we've seen over the first couple of days here. 3 centuries in the first 4 frames. He really was striking it, and his opponent was a little bit like a rabbit in the headlight. He didn't settle down, and he missed a few chances, didn't have the cue ball, and Murphy just kept his foot on the pedal, and that's why it's 9-0.
Well, let's take a quick reminder of what actually happened in that opening session.
Can he get back up the table? Yes, he can, and that was well cued. Yeah, this is good stuff from Murphy. Cue ball's been on a sixpence for most of it.
Great start from former world champion here. Excellent break, wonderful.
And that young man's in for a game this afternoon if Murphy keeps playing like this. Absolutely fabulous break to start this match. You can't start it any better.
This is tricky to the left centre. Very tricky indeed. Bit of inexperience there, I feel. Black for another century. 2 in a row. And Shaun Murphy, it's there. Excellent break from the former world champion.
Goes the black, and yet another century. 3 in the opening 4 frames this year's quest to be the world champion again. And this looks like going 9-0, unless Lu can find something and gets a bit of help.
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Century number 4 for this afternoon.
The scoring, break building, application, all A1. Started with a 138,
finished with that one of 123. Tough session for the Chinese player, but it's Sean Murphy who leads 9 frames to 0 overnight.
Well, the players are all set and ready to go. So let's head to the arena for the player introductions with our MC, Rob Walker.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What a session in prospect here. Last night's 2 10-9 thrillers prove anything's possible at the Arena of Dreams. 5 players are through to the second round of this year's Betfred World Snooker Championship. Today, 3 more will join them. 2 former world champions, 2 Chinese debutantes, ready in the wings, waiting to kickstart the Easter Monday morning action live at the Crucible. Please welcome one of the youngest players to have made it through to the Crucible this year. Here after a comprehensive victory over Indian Open champion Matthew Selt at the qualifiers. China Championship semi-finalist this season. Here he is, walking down these famous stairs for the very first time, Zhao Xin Tong. And also turning left on his way down the stairs, a player of immense mental strength under pressure, winning 3 of the last 5 Crucible titles. Earlier this season, he secured his 15th ranking title at the China Championship. This is his 15th consecutive appearance at the Crucible. Write him off at your peril. He's the jester from Leicester, Mark Selby. And on table 1, the youngest player to qualify this year, and he faces an unenviable task this morning. He did so well at the qualifiers, beating Marco Fu, Robbie Williams and Tom Ford, but he came up against an opponent in ruthless mood yesterday. He will be determined to show what he can do here on the sport's biggest stage. So come on, Sheffield, raise the roof for Liu Hong Hao. And finally, a class act on and off the bays. He was sensational yesterday. 4 centuries, 2 other breaks over 60, taking him to within a single frame of a 12th second round appearance. The 2005 champion of the world is hitting form at exactly the right time. So here he is, Sean the Magician Murphy.
Well, if you'd like to watch Selby against Zhao, you can watch that on the red button and online. But we'll be following Sean Murphy against Liu Hong Hao in the company of John Virgo and Peter Ebden.
Thank you, Seema. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. And welcome to the Crucible Theatre on another beautiful day here in Sheffield.
Prime 10. Sean Murphy to break.
But we're here in the Crucible Theatre. And the atmosphere, once again, 10 o'clock in the morning, Peter, crackling.
Yes. Wonderful occasion, wonderful championship. Very knowledgeable crowds. They really do love their snooker. Packed auditorium here this morning. Now can this young man from China show everybody what a good player he is?
Yeah, just looking at the stats, if you like, it was all Sean Murphy. Unbelievable. And there you see the pot success. 94%, just down at 67%, but that probably doesn't tell the tale. I mean, if you're not getting to the table, then how do you do anything better? Pot success, long pot, very good. Safety success. Get anything 90% and above, and then you're going to be a hard man to beat. And the total points scored, well, such a difference. And the highest break, as Sean Murphy misjudges that escape from the snooker. 138, but well, he made 138, 102, 48, 101. It was just, and then just to finish off nicely the first session to win the 9th frame, he made a 1, 2, 3. So Lu Huangyao didn't have a lot to go at. And all he's come out, you feel this morning, he's playing for a bit of pride.
Yes, it was an absolute masterclass from Sean Murphy yesterday. A wonderful break fest. But he's left a red to the centre here. Awkward queuing. And we know that these middle pockets are playing very small, so this needs to be accurate. Certainly doesn't look like there's too much pocket there, John, does there?
Well, just caught enough of it. And as per usual, when someone's up against it, the Crucible audience will give him every encouragement. I've seen a few players over the years wear a glove. Obviously, they have a sort of feels as though you can run the cue through the gloved hand rather than the norm. Wants this cue ball to slow up. It has
6.
done. Yeah, nicely played. Only downside is that cue ball's gone very close to the side cushion, so this is a tricky black. The only advantage, he doesn't have to do much with the cue ball. There's a red available to the opposite corner if he can just drop this black in. No. It's a tough shot the best of time, but when you're 9-0 behind, it's even harder.
There wasn't too much control that Sean Murphy could impose on the cue ball there. And if he takes the blue on, it's very tough.
Brown ball.
Just a safety shot then.
Sean Murphy 1.
As we always say, if you're going to miss that type of shot, air on the side of it, isn't it too thin? But he's left Sean an opportunity, a couple of long reds. He'd have so much look forward to coming here, Liu Honghao, but it's a nightmare scenario. We've met one of the top players in the game, on top form, and Sean could do this to anybody. Lovely clean pot, trademark long
One. Green ball.
Just misjudged the line of that, didn't want to kiss into the blue.
4.
But there's a few players in this year's World Championship, Peter, that for some reason will be going slightly under the radar. Sean Murphy won. He's not had the best of seasons, but we know the talent's there.
Absolutely, 100%. I think the same can be said about Ding Junhui. He's had a very quiet season.
5.
But Sean Murphy has certainly got the ability. And I think I'd go as far to say that the year that he beat Neil Robertson in the final of the Masters was probably as well as I've ever seen anybody time the ball. He was absolutely awesome in that match.
Yeah, won that great championship at the Ali Pali without really breaking sweat. And the thing is, they play in all these tour events now and the qualifiers, but they don't play in an arena like this in the main. And this is what can really heighten the senses, if you like, for the top players. And there it is, beautiful scene of the Crucible Arena.
Yes, this is what it's all about. About Fred World Championship here at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield. In truth, it means more to the players than all of the other tournaments put together. That's a very nice safety shot there from Sean Murphy.
Yeah, covered a return back to baulk, so he's going to have to come round off a couple of cushions nestling to the back of the cluster. Will it reach? Will it reach?
Foul. Numbers. Sean Murphy 4.
Not showing enough pace this time. And judged it well.
Well, I think it's worth reinforcing, John, what an excellent player Liu Honghao is. He did so well in the qualifiers. Obviously, he's really struggled in this match. Sean Murphy's been absolutely outstanding, but in the qualifiers, he managed to beat Robbie Williams 10-8. He beat Marco Fu 10-7 in the first round, and he beat Tom Ford, and all of those players have been playing very, very well. So he's a very, very talented player, and it just hasn't happened for him at his on his Crucible debut, has it?
Well, that can happen. The Crucible, first time here, you can take it two ways, and I think with a lot of players. I remember many years ago playing Darren Morgan when he had his debut here. And I won quite comfortably, but after the match, when he was asking him was it his nerves, he said, no, I didn't feel any nerves, and that's what you can do here. In an effort to not let the nerves get the better of you, you just feel nothing. It's finding that balance between getting your senses right. Well, Sean's missed that red, so he's given Luau a chance here.
And I think it's also worth making the point that this is actually going to be quite difficult for Sean Murphy to maintain his focus, isn't it? Because he's already done the job, in effect.
He's in the second round, in his mind. half a chance gone, and a nice easy starter for Sean. Would that be Luang Hao's last shot in this year's championship? No one likes to see the whitewash, but it's on the cards now.
1.
Had a couple of chances, missed the black when he was near the cushion. Shouldn't have missed that one with the rest, it wasn't that difficult. And now can Sean finish on a high with another century in this match.
Six.
That's the old sidebar. Just looking for another 41 points to get to snooker's required. .41 points, that's the equivalent of 6 reds.
Seven. 13.
Well, Sean has already
14.
been into the cluster once and didn't release much. He may decide to play a full ball can into the pink and release him a bit more here. Should still be on the loose red. Well, decided not to. Unless there's another red available, which I can't see at the moment.
19.
I need a good angle on the black here to go into them. Surprised you didn't play the cannon that time around.
20.
But if this goes right, then we'll set up a frame winning, well, and match winning contribution.
And this is a perfect opportunity to witness Sean Murphy's cue power here. And that's worked out perfectly.
27.
And it just shows you, we were talking about it last night with the timing. You don't have to hit the ball hard, and Sean didn't, but you saw the action he got on the cue ball.
$28.
So as we say, he already made 4 centuries in this match. Could this be the 5th? Well, 2 reds, 2 colours. And Lou will need a snooker. You feel for him sat in that chair. Loneliest chair in the world when you're not got a frame on the scoreboard. Having said that, Sean's misjudged that, and he's a bit fortunate to have landed on the blue. He's just about on it. Doesn't have to do much with the cue ball for position either. He's just got enough angle. Fortunate there.
You mentioned just before the start of play, John, when we were having a chat, just
40.
how short Sean Murphy has gone with his bridge hand. Makes a difference with the timing and the spin that you get?
Well, it's obviously something he's worked on. He used to have his bridge hand a lot further away
41.
from the cue ball, but when you see it for the first time, it looks a bit uncomfortable, but he's obviously happy with it, and he's striking the ball beautifully. Well, he's just overhit that. 51 in front, 51 remaining, snooker
14.
required, but that 5th century doesn't look on now. Trying to work out if there's a possibility of a plant to keep it going. It's nowhere near set, so you've got to make it. Oh, and has done. Nice kiss on the brown.
49. Green ball.
And that green going in means there'll be no return to the table now for Liu
52.
Hanghao. It's not a record you'd
53.
like, but it's on for the whitewash now. So there you go. The green, 3 blues, 3 pinks, 2 blacks. There's not enough on to make the century. Not now, since he's taken a few low-valued colours. The red doesn't go in, but I think he'll be getting the handshake. There's a nod of concession. And what a shame. Debutant here, but he'll be congratulating Sean on his sparkling play in the first session. It's a whitewash we've not seen one since John Parrott beat Eddie Charlton. But Sean Murphy won't be worried about that record. He's got bigger fishes to fry during this next 17 days, and he runs out a 10-0 winner, and he's into round 2.
So we've seen the second whitewash in Crucible history. How impressive was Sean in that frame?
Yeah, it was good. And what he did was he maintained the focus. He missed one mid-range, right? That was it. But when he lost position there early on, he made a granite safety shot and kept him on the bottom cushion. And, you know, you only have so much petrol in the tank, and you've got to make sure that if you get a match like that, which is going your way, you get it done easily. I mean, and there'll be people going, oh, let him win a frame and all this. You're not there to do that. You're there as a job is to get over the line quickly as possible and to maintain that petrol for the rest of the tournament, and that's what he's done there.
And I was asking you as we were watching it, when you're 9-0 up and the session ends and you have to come back the next day, how does that feel? Because you've got the momentum with you, and it really, anything could happen the next day, but he maintained his composure and his focus, as you said.
Let me tell you, you sleep a lot better 9-0 up than you do getting a drubbing. I've had a few of them here as well, so it was a lovely feeling then, and it'd be a great feeling for Sean. He knows full well. It's one of those, you put your waistcoat on, your dicky bow, get your shirt, you just want to get the job done quickly as possible.
And
well played.
Here he is.
Thank you.
Marvellous.
Well played, Sean. Congratulations.
Thanks. Thank
well
you.
done. So, how are you feeling? Job done. Through to round 2.
I'm as shocked as everyone.
But yesterday when I spoke to you and you were practising on the tables, you said you actually felt really good. You're in a good place.
I think it's this place, you know, it brings out things in people that, you know, perhaps leave you for the rest of the season. It's a very special place. It's like our holy ground, like, you know, as snooker players. And, yeah, as soon as you see the Crucible, you sort of get those juices flowing. I still remember being that 9-year-old kid running up the road after Steve Davis. So, you know, it's a special place. And who knows, you know, maybe that was the spark.
The funny thing with this place is it's a place that, even though you haven't had the greatest of seasons, you can play your way in it. There's enough frames, isn't there? I mean, ideally you'd like to be coming here in brilliant form, but it's a place where you can play yourself in.
I think not the best of seasons is understatement of the year, John.
I'm being kind.
Yeah, it's been the worst season of my life. It's been a season to forget, and you know, I'm trying to turn the ship around, and I've been working really hard with Chris Henry again since Christmas. We've been working hard on things, and there's just glimmers now of, you know, some really good form coming through. But you know, I'm not getting ahead of myself. There's still a lot of work to do, and you know, I'm through to the second round.
Why do you think it's not been the best season for you?
You know, I've really tried hard to work that out, and I've just sort of decided that it's just been a bad season. You know, like everyone has it, and teams have it, and football team, golfers have it, and there's been a few matches where I've played really, really badly, and I've got what I deserved, and there's been quite a few games where I've actually played quite well and just lost to someone who played better. You know, this man behind me, James Cahill, practising here, you know, beat me in the Welsh Open and played great. You know, there was no complaints from my camp. It was just one of those things.
The funny thing with this game is you can have a season where you have maybe 4 or 5 final frame deciders and you lose them all and your season looks like a shocker.
Yeah.
And it's actually not that far off.
No, and it's been a season like that. Plus, I mean, there's been some shockers in there as well. Like, you know, let's have it right. There's been some real shocking performances as well. But yeah, it's been difficult not to push the panic button, you know, and not say, well, you know, what's happening, and start tumbling down the rankings. There was a time a few weeks ago where I wasn't sure if I was going to go to the qualifiers or not. If I'd have dropped out the top 16, I'd have been at the qualifiers myself, and like no one wants to go there. So I was thankful to be in the 16. And I think that kind of new perspective of just being thankful and appreciative of being here anyway by seed, perhaps has given me a slightly different mindset coming in.
Well, you do have great memories of this place, as you said, back in 2005 when you actually won the tournament. Yeah. How much has it changed since then?
It's completely different. Like, the studio used to be in this room and it was much more cramped, and the place has had a complete refurbishment a few years ago. So, you know, back in John's day when you were in here in the dressing room...
Many moons ago.
It's all changed. Was it in black and white back then?
Thank you very much for that.
No, but like it's completely different. But the atmosphere and the ambience of the place
and the standard of play as well.
It's gone completely through the roof. Like, it's just a completely different.
Now, speaking of standard of play, can you believe you're playing Neil Robertson in the last 16 of the World Championship? I mean, what a draw that is!
I know, what a match.
I mean, you're in a section with 5 former world champions.
Yeah, well, I think it just shows. It's the sort of cliche of all cliches in its strength in depth. It just shows where the game's at. You know, we're playing each other in the last 16, and it'll be some match. I mean, you know, he played fantastic as well in his first round, so it'll be a great match.
He's had a great season, hasn't he? He's won 3 tournaments already this season. So how do you prepare for that? Because you come off the back of a very easy first round, if I can put it that way, and now you've got a very tough opponent in Neil Robertson. What happens between now and then in terms of your practice and your preparation? Yeah,
do you know, it'll just be exactly the same. Because snooker's a funny little game. You know, really, you can only really concentrate on yourself. I can only work on what I'm doing. I can only worry about my game. You know, and if I make the most of the chances that will come my way, you know, I won't sit in my seat for 13 frames. I will get chances. If I make the most of them, then it could be a classic.
OK, well done for getting through round 1. Best of luck with the second round as well.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Thanks for leaking with me record and
Well, we are going to turn our attention to matters over on table 2, where Mark Selby is in action. Although he hasn't had the best season, you can never underestimate a 3-time world champion.
well done.
Just the black for a famous victory. Absolutely incredible, Mark Selby. He wins the World Championship for the very first time. Ding's having a look. He's coming forward to shake the hand of Mark Selby. Mark Selby, for the second time, becomes world champion. What a win for Mark Selby. That's his 3rd world title.
Some great memories there for Mark Selby. But let's take a look at his opposition today, Zhao. And that profile there just reminds us, John, that there are players that have gone through 3 matches in qualifying to get here. And you were telling me earlier that he played pretty well in them.
Yeah, he plays quickly, which is really nice as well for the game. I mean, I think it's a big consideration these days. He's very quick in his shot time. But the thing that was impressive was looking at the score sheets there. He scores heavily and quickly. So he's winning lots of frames in one visit, and you've got to do that in the modern game.
OK, well, we are actually going to catch up with what's going over on table 2 between Selby and Zhao. We're joining with Zhao at the table. He's leading by 63-24.
In the yellow. Okay, we'd rather have the cue ball in the baulk cushion, but putting the yellow into a more awkward position certainly doesn't do any harm to Zhao's chances of winning this first frame. Mark Selby has got a tempter here. The red furthest away from the cushion. Botting that to the right corner. He can afford a blue, so he can screw back. Obviously the pink's there as well. Aiming more at the middle of the cue ball. So it's a safety. And there's the red one. He shows his hand to his opponent, so not played. He's looking at the green, but surely that's not an option. Got to take the pink. Puts the green, he's 35 behind, 35 on. You can just hear the applause on the other table as that match ends quickly as we expected, so very soon these two players will have the Crucible Theatre to themselves.
Scramble.
Took the brown, so he can win with a black. Needs his cue ball to run. Wow, what an effort. That cue ball just runs an extra 2-3 inches. He was on this red. In behind the yellow would be obviously the optimum safe place for the cue ball. Just got to make sure he keeps the red safe though, that's a priority. Brown's going to come to his rescue.
Mark Selby 5. Foul and a miss. Mark Selby 4. Thank you. Okay. Foul and a miss. Mark Selby 6.
Well, he's thinking long and hard, but he's having it replaced, and
Please, Jan, for the pink.
all of a sudden Mark, you'd have to say, has become favoured for this opening frame. It didn't look like that not so long ago. Zhao Zhentong was in complete control. He wanted a little nudge to develop the red. He only needed one more red. Got the cannon and was very unlucky. And now he's battling to try and win this opening frame now. Still got a 24-point advantage, but he's in trouble here. It's a delicate little one to hit the two cushions and miss the pink to get the red. Well played. Well played. Really well judged there. Now he got a fluke on a previous red, a double. He's playing a similar type shot. It's a safety he's playing, but he's played it well this time. got all the shots, this boy. That's a cracker he's played there, and he's reversed the roles. Now he's got the 3 times champion in all sorts of trouble. But if anybody can get out of a snooker, it's Satnav Selby. Oh.
Foul. And a miss.
Not.
Zhao Xintong 4.
Like Mark to miss that. Okay, he's having to play it with a lot of side.
Foul.
Well, that should be the end of frame. It was a terrific snooker that he put Mark in, and it's paying dividends.
One. Six. Eight. 11. 15. 20.
What a start for this young Chinese player. He looks calm, cool, collected. And he wants
26.
to pot the lot. He wants the black as well. Very, very impressive. He's thrown the gauntlet down to Mark Selby. Very good first frame for this young player. And he leads Mark Selby by 1 frame to 0.
OK, well, let's rejoin the action live on table 2 with our commentary team, Dennis Taylor and Stephen Hendry.
Well, thank you, Seaman. Not a great deal happened in the second frame. Ball's just gone a little bit awkward. Mark attempting this long blue. No, he was stretching over the reds. They were a bit of a distraction, but look where the blue's going to finish up. I suppose you would say if the frames go a bit awkward, you'd fancy Mark Selby, one of the best tactical players in the game. It doesn't matter how good you are at tactics if you're up against an opponent like this. I'm very, very impressed with Zhao Xintong, Stephen.
Yep, he's looked a cool customer so far this morning. Make no mistake, Mark Selby will be under it in this match. Not coming into this event with any real form whatsoever.
5.
Massive match for him. As I said earlier, I do think if Mark Selby can negotiate this first round, he will have a big championship, but the seeds are always most vulnerable in the first round.
It's so difficult to score a few points here with the way the balls are situated. He hasn't hit any mistakes.
Zhao Xintong 6.
And then the yellow's gone safe as well, so he was having to power that in with lots of top spin. Now Mark Selby needs to get onto the brown here or the green in such a way that he can pot one of those colours and get up in amongst them and try and disturb some of the reds or colours, because they're all tied up at the moment. Needs an angle, needs to keep going.
He's on the brown to the left corner, or the green. If the green's straight, he can screw the cue ball back in a straight line. The red just above the blue. I think both of the reds actually to the right of the blue are available to the right corner. He's just got to find that gap. Looks like brown of 2 or 3 cushions for me, unless that green is in a straight line. No, it is the brown. Well, it looks like he's playing for the gap at the other side of the table, red to left corner. Didn't put the brown in the middle of the pocket, but he's okay.
I'll tell you what, Stephen, if the blue goes, as we show you the brown here with the rest, but if the blue goes, it would be a whole new ball game. But I'm not sure if it does pass that red. Well, the blue definitely goes, and
6.
Getting the blue back on its own spot makes such a vast difference. Plenty of room, as you can see.
The ankle doesn't look great. You want it to be absolutely dead straight on this red so he can screw the cue ball back in the same line. Don't know if he can avoid the reds. Yeah, he couldn't. He had to really force that up with a stun shot.
And once again, it's another one of those shots. He was almost straight on the red, and look at the angle he made. That's because of the fast cloths these days. Need to keep coming this one. And pulling up a little bit short, I think.
17.
Is there another red available into this right corner? Yeah, there's a gap there. Coming around to have a look from both sides, but our camera clearly did show you there that there's enough room. And he can swing the white around the table or up and down to get back to the blue again. Oh, caught the other red. It was tight,
Selby,
but I still
17.
thought he'd knock it in. Well, you'd have to say that was a mishit because he was trying to pot that and get on the blue. Not sure what happened there.
Foul. And a miss. Tongue 4.
Yeah, he'll have this put back because it's an easier safety shot from where it's finished. So.
Get that one from Jan, please.
I was just thinking, Stephen, Zhao Sintang come into the Crucible for the very first time with 2 tables and was just getting used to it, and all of a sudden the other match finishes and it's a whole new arena for him, so he's having to adapt again.
Yeah, I bet I didn't expect this before coming to the Crucible. He'd have the whole arena to himself. It's always a kind of strange atmosphere. We all know what the one table situation is when the one table's in the middle, but when it's like this, it's a strange kind of situation for the players. Nice long pot, but no colour coming from it.
One.
They're funny little shots, just trying to land on the brown. You do want to come up short and put yourself in trouble. Looks like the two cushion escape, and if anybody can play this shot well, it's Mark Selby. So it's two cushions, just flick the red, get the white back up the table. Always hit it far too thick. Very unlike Mark Selby, but they are tough shots, those. It's a bit of a chance now, because he can. He's looking to see if the black possibly pots. He can quite easily get round on the blue, but oh, that looks very tight, doesn't it? So no problem swinging around the table to get onto the blue here, as long as he avoids canning into the yellow.
One.
He did have a glance at the brown there. That's much more difficult. Now, how much power can he generate? Because he's going to have to get a lot of topspin on this if he's going to come all the way round the table and avoid the green, the red. There's two reds near the black spot that he could get on, but what a shot that would be. Change of plan. Just playing for the loose red there.
Six. Josing Tong, 6.
Yeah, it's going to be a test of, well, the Crucible tests every aspect of your game, but it's going to be a test of Zhao Xintong's patience to date, because you would expect to be a few of these frames, scrappy frames. He likes to get in and win the frames in one visit quickly. Has to be fair, Mark Selby, he doesn't want to play frames like this either. He'd rather be in making big breaks, but he's certainly more in his comfort zone in this kind of frame, you would imagine, than his opponent. This is a brilliant safety shot.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, he's yet to beat Mark Selby 3 times. Mark has defeated this young player, but the last time, 2018 China Championship, in the semi-final, it was just 6-4, so he knows all about the 3 times champion of the world. As long as you keep getting a thin contact, you're not going to leave anything. You're hoping that you'll get in behind the green or brown. Is he going to try and cut this in? Might be, yeah. Well played. How's the kiss on the green? Well, not bad, because there's still a red to the left of the black spot that's available. Yeah, you can take the cue ball up the right side of the table for that red I mentioned, to the left of the black spot. They'd like to take this one again.
Four. In tone 4.
Still a packed crowd. They've stayed on the other side of the arena. Third day. Once again, beautiful weather outside. Giving this one plenty of thought. Just wondering if there's a possibility. There's an easy safety shot on off the one next to the yellow, but I was looking at the two reds near the black spot. You can get down off one of those also. But that's opened things up somewhat. Got a good cue ball there. Paul Collier having a long hard look there, just in case Mark Selby was to miss the red altogether. He would know where to replace the cue ball. Oh, there's not much sticking out there. Oh, well done.
Zhao that's been the more aggressor with the safety shots. Mark Selby being forced to play little containing safeties. You see, wow. I mean, you would be surprised if that stat there is 84% safety success versus Mark Selby, 61. Shows you how much he's outplaying him.
He's okay, but he got up very quickly off the shot there. He knew he'd mishit that. Hit it much thicker than he intended, so Mark's had a look at the potting angle of this red. He's got an easy safety shot on to swing the white around the table behind the green, but he's looking at the cut. He's back looking at it again. Fully stretched. And not a bad kiss on the brown. That was always worth the risk, a very thin one. I think he's got a little bit of an angle on the pink here to come across for a red. Might have to play it with the trace aside though.
Foul.
Oh, touched the green with his sleeve.
Mark Selby 1.
Can you believe it? Schoolboy error from Mark Selby. He looks a bit surprised. Yeah.
Foul.
Well, Paul Collier was in close behind Mark, and Mark wouldn't have felt that.
No, if it was literally the cuff of his shirt, he wouldn't have felt the contact at all. Just a little bit careless. Oh, that's a good shot. Lots of left-hand side checks out to straighten it in the cue ball.
Yeah, it's such a good shot that Zhao Xintong's got to be careful he doesn't push a red over the right corner there. And playing the safety shot here could quite easily knock one towards the corner pocket. But he's played the thinnest of contacts.
You would think it's a big target for someone the talent of Mark Selby at these kind of shots behind green and brown. Trace the right hand side. Looks a bit pacey. Looks like he snookered Zhao on the 4 reds in the middle of the table, so this is not easy. Very easy to get the double kiss here. Playing it with left hand side, check side. Take the cue ball back in a straight line. Yeah, such a tough shot that was.
Yeah, because of all the side he had put on it, he swung it into the red and hit the red half ball. He wanted a thin contact. It was just the side that caused that mistake. Still a couple of very difficult reds. A little triangle of reds there. The one away from the cushions available, the other 2 are not. I'll have to watch the green because it's a similar shot if he takes the pink on. He must be straight on the pink, that's why he's taking the green. He can get to the red that's closest to the yellow.
We'll have to play for the black here, because obviously the next red that's available makes it much easier to play for the black again when the black goes on its own spot.
You can still see that little bit of movement. It's something that Mark Selby's always done, not as much these days as he used to.
You can see visibly see the disappointment, the disgust almost, that he's finished dead straight in his black. And he's still showing. Can't get close to this red. Trying to force an angle of 2 cushions. And actually use the jaws of the pocket. That was a great shot.
And the problem is, can he get an angle on the black to be able to cannon the 2 difficult reds out? It's almost straight there, so he'd have to screw back with quite a bit of side to get the correct angle on the black to be able to cannon the reds. This is far from easy.
I'm just wondering, Dennis, if those 2 reds are a possible plant to the right corner pocket.
13.
Don't think he's looked at it. It'd be very risky. It's not far away, I don't think.
Yep. I'm just wondering if he's going to go all the way around the angles here to try and get to the reds. Pretty good effort.
$20. Mark Selby, 20.
Very good from Zhao Xintong there. This frame just coming up to 33 minutes, but it's just because the balls went very awkward early on.
That really is a brilliant shot. That is probably the most difficult safety shot you'll get on the table when you get through the whole table away from the exit ball. The exit ball's technically, you have to come across it and get a really thin contact. Fabulous shot.
He can take this on though. It's a shot to nothing. He can cut this in. Don't think he'll go anywhere near the middle pocket with the cue ball. Similar type shot for Mark Selby. He's looked at the potting angle, but it's the safety shot that he's also thinking about. Oh, he's hit it much too thick. And what's he done here? Needs a bit of good luck here. Well, if it doesn't pass the yellow, it may pass the blue into the middle.
Good angle on the brown. He can play to take the red off. He is left-handed, so if he wants to drop on the red, it'll be okay. Well, he played the cannon and just completely took his eye off the pot. Fortunately for Zhao, he hasn't got the correct cannon.
Yeah, that was the case. Forgot about the brown, was concentrating on the cannon. We see it so many times. But as you say, he's been fortunate. The red doesn't pass the yellow. The red doesn't pass the black. So it's not going to cost him. Just over the hour for play so far. Didn't quite hit it hard enough. Trying to get in behind the brown there. This red will be heading up towards the brown, green and pink here. Chance of a snooker. Oh, he's been fortunate. He's holding his hand up there. He's been very fortunate.
Definitely looks under pressure to me, Mark Selby. Looks like he's desperate to get a frame on the board, and it's very early. It's only the second frame, but you feel that it really needs a very easy opportunity to clear the colours and win this second frame. And that's exactly what he's just been presented with. Not straightforward, the early part of this break, you know, but as I say, yellow to green is going to be a good shot. So, you know, looking 3 shots in advance here, playing 3 shots in advance, needs a good angle on the colour after the red to get the good angle on the yellow to get to the green.
One.
Now, has he got the angle? He'd love to get the cue ball somewhere near the circle there to leave a nice easy green, and then it would be plain sailing. All about this shot here, and I think he's got the angle on the yellow to do that.
Well, if he has, it's only just. In fact, he didn't.
It was too straight.
8.
That's what I mean. It just looks under pressure to get that first frame on the board. And the blue was quite simple to leave himself a nice angle on the yellow.
Mark Selby, 8.
The fact that Mark came round the table quickly to see if he'd got the snooker just proves to me how anxious he is at the moment.
needs to keep running, and it hasn't. If this green passes the black, this is a chance for this young Chinese player. He'll automatically finish on the brown as long as he avoids the middle pocket.
Yeah, he doesn't want to flick a bit of right-hand side on, does he? Is he on it? Looking at Mark Selby's reaction, I don't think he is.
Just the middle pocket that caught the jaw of it. Well, he was on it. Kevin might have played it with a trace of side there, Stephen.
Yeah, without doubt. I don't think he was on it naturally. You had to play that with right-hand side to get the angle. 3 remaining colours to go 2-0 ahead of the world number 2. Don't want to be straight on this pink. Okay, the black's in a decent position to play from distance. Now, similar shot to the brown, top right-hand side.
18.
Well, what a performance. Okay, they're only in the second frame, but as Stephen said, Mark Selby already under a lot of pressure. Even more now. If Zhao Xintong has knocked the black in, he's out Selby there, and he leads 2 frames to 0.
So Mark Selby trails by 2 frames. Is it right in saying that he looks a little bit nervous out there today?
He looks more than a little bit nervous. He looks bang under it. I mean, he's got no form really in the majors coming in here since he won the championship way back, and he just doesn't look the same Mark Selby. Listen, he'll be massively under pressure in the first round. We obviously talk about you've got to get through the first round, which is obvious, but people know it. There's potential banana skins all over the place, and this boy can definitely play and score, and Selby looks really under it to me.
And thinking about this time last season, Selby did lose his first match, didn't he, to Joe Perry? That was 10-4. Will that be playing on his mind?
It will have done before he came here. It shouldn't be today because he's got a match to concentrate on, but definitely, I mean, he was unlucky last year. He pulled probably the best qualifier. I think Joe Perry's an excellent player, and Joe Perry just basically did a number on him, and he didn't do his stuff last year, and he just looks really under it to me, and he needs a good chance in amongst the balls to make a nice break just to get himself involved. I agree with what Stephen said in commentary earlier. If you can remember that far back at the start of this frame, Stephen actually turned around and said Mark Selby could have a run in this championship if he gets through this first round, but it's a big if.
He just needs that game-changing moment.
Well, he actually only... I mean, if it's 10-9 on the black, he just needs to scrape through and get a result and just get involved in the tournament because he's just not really doing his stuff.
What about from Zhao's perspective? What's impressed you most about him so far?
Well, he's open and attacking. He gets on with it. That was a really good mini clearance that he made near the end of it. He'll be nervous as well, first time with the Crucible, but so far with a 2-0 lead, if you just said to him you'd be playing Mark Selby and you'd be 2-0 up, he'd have bit your hand off.
What are we expecting in the next frame? It's a bit hard to tell this early on.
I just think Mark Selby needs one good chance and needs to get in and get himself settled. It seems bizarre to say it about someone who's a 3 times world champion, but he looks as nervous as a kitten to me.
OK, well, let's see what happens and head back to the arena with Dennis Taylor and Stephen Hendry.
So, on under pressure, Mark Selby breaks off in frame 3. Excellent pot. The angle never looked on to drop on the black. Maybe he was hoping for a little half-ball kiss on the black.
Zhao Xintong, 1.
Not the best from Mark there. Always a bit annoying when you catch a bulk colour when you play a safety shot, but he's left a long straight red with this terrific Chinese potter. For the player that's making his debut in the Crucible Theatre to be knocking these type of pots in, yeah, it's a bit special. Won't be
6.
too concerned just yet, but he needs to get a frame on the board. Even someone like Mark Selby won't settle till you do that.
Seven.
It's not a good chance because of the pink tied up and the black awkward. That may be a little pacey, or no, that's perfect. He's great to watch, this player. He really is, Steve.
Yeah, he very much reminds me of a young Jimmy White. Obviously, both left-handed, but even the style of cue action, the speed of play, the way he strikes the ball.
Well,
just overhit that. Being a left-hander, it would have been straightforward.
Yeah, I may feel the shot here is to follow through. A couple of cushions for the red. Of the two reds and the black cushion, the one obviously furthest off the cushion. I've decided to stun for this red. And if he's dead straight, that's okay. Just a little stun run through for the black to left corner.
19.
He's got options here. He can play for a low back black to open the bunch, or straight black. He can play for those other reds.
20.
That got a big bounce off the cushion there. That's, well, as you can see, I'm just holding the rubber on the cushion there. Now let's have a look at this. Yeah, it's certainly come off a lot quicker than it went onto the cushion.
Yeah, there may have been a bit of chalk dust or something on the cushion from a previous shot. When the cue ball makes contact with that, it just accelerates. It gets no grip on the cushion.
Zhao Tong, 27.
a lovely little instant here. Do you see where he's feeling the rubber? I haven't seen that for a long time. Great Ray Reardon used to do that, and John Virgo. It was their way of having a little moan about the cushions.
Yeah, it's like the player saying, well, it wasn't my mistake. It was the table's mistake. Just letting everyone know. He was actually feeling the cushion that it wasn't the cushion that the cue ball hit. Well, there's 5 reds in the black cushion. Okay, the black's in the open, blue's in the open, but possibly getting towards another awkward frame.
Well, there's a possible plan, but I don't think it goes. The 2 reds. There, he's looking long and hard at them. I'm not sure. Let's have the other red's in the way anyway, so can't make that. Oh, but what about the plant in the other pocket? I never thought about that. Is he going to drop in behind the brown? No chance for Mark Selby. Okay, there's 5 tough reds, but the others are not too badly placed.
One.
Nicely played. Nice angle in the black. Be interesting to see if he gets high on the black here, if he's tempted to go into those 5 reds early on in this break. They're on the black cushion.
9.
Well, he's got the angle now. A confident Mark Selby would definitely take the shot on. Yep, aiming high in the cue ball. So don't take your eye off the pot, and hopefully the split works out. And in the end, they hit it so hard that the cue ball, there was a delay before the topspin took effect and arced it round the reds.
16.
This requires good cueing. Tough pot, this. He will finish on the black if he knocks it in. No.
Mark Selby, 16.
He was perfectly on the black again, had he have knocked that red in. It wasn't easy, but when you have a look at where the cue ball finished, he would have been on the black and he would have been able to split the reds this time, but no pot. Oh, that's put 2 more reds and the black safe in the crowd. Everybody smiling. Mark looked at Zhao.
That was the first pot attempt that Zhao was overhit a little bit. Didn't have to hit that hard, that shot.
Yep. Let's see if you can knock this long one in. Well, where's the colour coming from? To get a lot of action, he's going to screw back here. No. He's knocked the yellow safe on one side cushion, red safe. Once again, smiles all around the crucible. Really is awkward now. Should clear up from here. It's going to take quite a while to resolve this, the way the reds. Have you ever seen them sitting like that? In 2, 2, 2. It's like a trick shot the way they're sitting near the black there. Now then, what do you think, Stephen?
Well, again, the angle looks, from our view, looks pretty good to go into the 6 reds at pace. But once again, the pot looks easy, but don't take your eye off it. Is it black available?
One.
Well, if the yellow wasn't there, you'd have a lovely angle in the blue to come off the baulk cushion, lots of right-hand side. Off the right-hand side cushion and into the 6 reds. You have to just come straight up and down the table here. Yeah, that's what he's played. Very tough shot. Because when you hit it that hard, you always get too much left-hand side on.
6.
I, like you, I thought he was going to take the red in the middle and cannon into the 6 reds and rely on maybe a little bit of good fortune to maybe finish on the black. Because it took some shot to get the correct side of the blue, which he was trying to do, and then move the reds.
Mark Selby 6.
I mean, if this got too bogged down here with the reds like that, what's the score line? There's only 6 the difference. There's a possibility if it carries on like this, the referee could say to the players, right, I'll give you 3 shots each, boys, and if it's not resolved, we might start again. Now, well, that has left the red in such a place that Mark can do what he wants with this red. Good safety shot. Paul Collier, well, he'll be keeping a close eye on proceedings here. Bit of snooker history with Luca Brissell and Gary Wilson last evening, the longest frame in the 42-year history of the Crucible, 69 minutes and just over. And the record before that was held by Mark Selby and Marco Fu, 76 minutes.
Mark Selby's just coming around to see what the reds are going to do. He plays a thin contact off the right-hand side. Just checking. There's no 3 or 4 ball plans to send one over the left corner pocket. You'd love to play a kind of aggressive shot and open the reds up, but there's just no point at the moment. Just keeping it safe.
awkward cueing now. Yeah, that always could happen because of the green being in the way. It's not going to make a great deal of difference.
Back.
The thing is, when you're bridging over the green like that, probably just got a little trace of unwanted side on it. I mean, he can just roll to the reds if he wishes. Yeah, it wasn't that awkward. It was a little bit easier than that. I can hear Jan Verhaas's voice in the background telling him just to move it a little bit to his.
All right there, Mark?
Yeah. Played it well this time. See, if they keep playing a thin safety, they're not going anywhere, the reds.
Mark showed a little bit of frustration at the cushions. It's starting to misbehave. And that's an unforced error from Zhao. I think the red is cuttable. Okay, you could hardly call it a chance to win the frame. But it's a start. I mean, you just drop the red and in some way use a bolt colour to open the reds up and lay a snooker or lay a good white. And make sure you pot the red.
That wasn't pressure there, that was just a little lapse in concentration because he knew he couldn't get on an easy colour. Oh, he's got the double kiss. Oh, missed that by a fraction. That's a good shot now. Look at this for an effort. He's in behind the yellow. What a shot. Old Satnav Selby strikes again.
Foul and a miss. Mark Selby 4. Back here.
It seemed to just catch the middle jaw slightly there for it to come off at that angle. Because I thought if he misses the middle pocket, he'd go close to hitting the black, and he missed the reds on the right side as we look at it. Which tells me maybe he just caught the jaw of the left middle pocket. gradually they're just moving a little bit, those reds. Oh, he's played this well. He's played this very well. Another inch. Mark wouldn't have been able to see this red, the one that's nearest the black.
One. Eight. Nine.
He still looks a bit edgy, does Mark Selby, because he's glancing around in the crowd and maybe up to the balcony, a few of his friends around.
11.
Hey, I mean, he just looks bang under pressure to me. He has done pretty much since the start. He needs to get a frame on the board quickly. That's a brilliant shot. Dropping it in dead weight. Does not matter who you are. You need to get that first frame on the board to get involved in the match.
Well,
Play a little double kiss. I always play this with topspin, just a double kiss off the red and the cushion to end up on the black. Played the double kiss, but I don't think he'd hit it as hard as that.
Tong 19.
But as is always, when you're desperate to get a frame on the board, you never seem to, even when your opponent misses, be presented with an easy chance. Nice contact on the red. That was the most important thing there. 17-point lead. It's a handy little lead when the reds are like this.
At least he's got a good cue ball. He hit that a little thicker than he intended. What a test of cueing this is. Yeah, no doubt, straight down. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous shot there. I mean, what cueing that was. Well, I've seen quite a few new young Chinese players coming through over the years, Stephen. This is one of the best I've seen for quite some time. I just love the way he plays the game.
9.
Yeah, I've been very impressed so far this morning. Haven't seen him play before. There's another Chinese player called Yuan Sejun, who is 18, is also a great prospect.
Sure.
But he's just going to get more and more confident. Worrying
16.
times for Mark Selby. When you're the seeded player, you've got to stamp your authority very quickly in a match against your more inexperienced opponent. Mark Selby hasn't done that. Now it's him that's on the back foot. That shouldn't be in, but it is.
17.
Just touched the cushion but went in. Watch this shot. Watch this shot coming up. Does he miss the yellow? Just a little bit further than he intended. But he has a quick glance at the scoreboard. And the black was what he needed. He's 41 ahead now with 35 on the table. Just play a little snooker here and behind the pink, you would think.
I think another worrying aspect for Mark Selby is the 3 frames, the first 3 frames that Zhao has won, they've all been pretty scrappy affairs, ones that you would expect Mark Selby to dominate.
Losing from 24.
Yeah, the first frame was just over 25 minutes, second 41.5 minutes, this one just over 30 minutes, and barring snookers, the Chinese player is going to be 3-0 up, but this frame's far from over. Two snookers needed at the moment, but there's always a chance with the red on the table of a free ball situation. Not if this red goes in. Whoa! I bet he thought that was in. Plenty of room for the players now. In fact, Zhao Zhintong leaning against the other table. You don't always have to play for a snooker when you need them, because there was no way he could get a snooker. He just kept everything safe there. And although it's 2 snookers needed, Mark Selby's so good in that department. And this young player's not bad in that department either. Has he got the snooker here? Easy to hit, but nicely played. and can have another go at this red. Okay, the white will be heading up towards the left corner pocket there, but it's all about the pot on the red here. There's that white. It's not in the corner pocket, so the frame is now safe. Well, what a start for his debut match at the Crucible Theatre against a former 3-times champion and who was world #1 for well over 3 years. Ronnie O'Sullivan now world #1. But the young man you're watching here is ranked 67 in the world. Doesn't really matter about the blue here. So 3 long frames played, 3 awkward frames, and they've all gone to this Chinese sensation. And Zhao Xingtong leads Mark Selby 3 frames to 0.
Mark Selby yet to register a frame, and we just heard Dennis and Stephen saying that he looks a bit edgy still, and it's exactly what you said before.
Yeah, he's not comfortable out there at all. He's put himself under the cosh. Worryingly for him, I agree exactly with what Stephen said there. The 3 frames have been scrappy, which you would think Mark Selby's a master at winning. He's lost all 3 of them. I mean, he's a little bit... he basically needs one good chance, and of course they had a frame there which was ugly. I mean, it was an ugly, horrible frame.
The last thing he needed.
Yeah, exactly right. But they all count, and, you know, you've got to go and win them, which he did.
Well, there was a moment from Zhao, which we liked, didn't we? That great red into the bottom right.
Yeah, it just showed his cueing, really. This is one you can put a bit of side on and hit across, and he gets right through it beautifully. Runs off the 2 cushions back to the black. That's the nicest bit of cueing he's shown in the match so far, and that'll give him extra confidence. But he'd be taking the confidence of the fact that the scoreline and his opponent just looks, well, he just looks very, very nervous.
Yeah, and as you said, those are the sorts of shots that Zhao can now build on into the next frame.
Very much so, and he'd be looking himself, you know, he knows he's scoring, he's cueing well enough. As for Mark Selby, we're back to the same thing, worth repeating, just exactly what I said before. He just needs one good chance to score, and just, you know, for his own sanity, really, just to say, you know, I'm playing well enough, I'm hitting it, because at the moment he just looks well off it.
Yes, from Selby's perspective, though, he's a 3-time world champion. He's been here before, he's been in these situations before. If anyone can get out of them, it is him.
You would think so, but he's not coming in here in the greatest of form, and his record in the majors since he's won here is pretty poor. He's been going out in a lot of first-round matches. He'll be looking at that and thinking, I just need a run. And you know, as I say, we go back to the first-round situation where it's difficult for the seeds sometimes that they don't get off to a good start, which has happened to him today. He hasn't. He's now bang under the 3-0 down. This is a huge frame coming up. I mean, if he goes 4-0 down, going to the mid-session interval, it's not a great scoreline.
Do you think the nerves are slightly heightened just because it is the first round, and we always say how much pressure is on that opening round?
It's heightened because it's the World Championship, and it's the best thing you can win in the world. And Mark Selby's done it 3 times in the last 5 years. It won't be happening if he doesn't start shaping up.
OK, well, let's see what happens in frame 4 with Dennis Taylor and Stephen Hendry.
Another pretty good break-off shot from Zhao Xingtong. 2 cushion escape, glance off the red. Better missing it the first time, although you don't want to leave a free ball. And it is a free ball, so he could take yellow or green as his free ball. That's an extra red. You'd think the yellow would be the better one because he wouldn't leave anything. If he takes the green, he could leave the red to the left of the pack, but if he rolls the yellow in, he'll finish on the brown, and he could get back up into the scoring zone. Is it there? Oh, not quite. Now that's what you call an attacking safety shot. That's okay if you get a good cue ball, but against a potter like Zhao, you don't want to be leaving in amongst them like this. So still needs a good opening pot though. And this time, well, I thought it was going to be straightforward, but now the white's finished next to the red as we show you the attempt here. That would have been a great opportunity had he have knocked that in.
Yeah, when you're struggling, it always seems to be awkward in the chance. Fortunately, just nothing to do with the cue ball. Concentrate on the pot.
One.
Now, this black is certainly not an automatic pot. And the cue ball is going to be travelling. You wouldn't think he really wants to leave himself a red from distance at this stage. That's why he's looking to see if he just drops the black in. That's the kind of red you'd be left with. I mean, he could play a cannon into red directly above the black. I think he thought he'd missed it when he hit it. I certainly did. He went and scraped in off the far jaw.
8.
And 3-0 down. This isn't easy. But if he gets the pot, it's going to be a great chance. So wants that cue ball to bounce. Thought he would be guaranteed nicely on the yellow. Still that one perfect positional shot away from thinking, yes, I can score and win the frame in one visit.
Just wondering if he can drop on the one next to the black there, just to the left of it as we look at it. Because that will help to clear the black, and he's landed nicely on that one.
14.
This is the best chance that Mark Selby's had so far this morning. How many can he make from it?
$22. 23. $30.
As we mentioned, the first 3 frames all pretty scrappy affairs. This is the first real scoring chance that Mark Selby's had. His first chance to show if he's got scoring form they can take into the rest of this match.
$38. $39.
Follow through of 2 cushions for a choice of 2 reds to the left corner. finished kind of in the middle of both of them.
46.
You can see the red and red he's looking at now. He's not perfect on either of them. May go back up for yellow off this red. The first red that he looked at. I think the other red your cue ball's going to be cannon into other reds. I think it's risky, that one. At least with this red, you're definitely going to be on a colour. Another one that just falls in off that far jaw. Boy, these pockets are playing generous this week.
$54.
Now the red is pot, and I don't think you can avoid the cannon on the red that's closest to it, to the right of this red. The reason I didn't play the cannon for the black, because he'd end up being too high on the black.
55.
So quite rightly, avoiding the risk of that and making sure that he's on a yellow. The red directly below the pink, pots to the right corner.
$57.
He's reaping the benefits here of the very attacking
58.
safety shot that he played early on. He left a long pot for Zhao Zintong, who just missed it into the left corner, but that created the opportunity. It was Mark who opened all the table up, and it's him that's knocking them in.
He's not finished ideal on this black. And he's going to play follow through of two cushions, the red that's to the left of the pink into the same pocket. It's not easy to get nicely on that red. But that's a great shot. That's about as good as he could have done. It's one of the best shots he's played in the match so far.
65. $66.
Now, will they play a cannon and the two reds to the right of the pink? Bound to be in a choice of at least two reds. Well, he's won this 3 times. As you said, Dennis, been world #1 for over 3 years, but he'll be breathing a huge sigh of relief to get his first frame on the board here.
74.
But he's doing it in style, isn't he? He'll go to the mid-session interval feeling much better than he was about 15 or 20 minutes ago. We were saying he hasn't had the best of season, but I'm just looking, he's made 59 centuries this season. He made 44
81.
last season. He is one of the game's all-time great break builders. We've had 17 centuries so far in this year's Betfred World Championship.
$89. $90.
Yeah, a couple of pots that perhaps on another day could have rattled in the jaws. That first black. But yeah, this has been
96.
Excellent break.
$97.
Well, that guarantees the century, that nice little kiss on the blue. The former world number one showing his class with that magnificent century break.
102.
Century number 18, and we're only in day 3. Not bothered about wobbling the red. It's a friendly bag he needed. We said he needed one to settle down, and that will settle him down. A century break, but he goes off to the mid-session interval, trailing by 3 frames to 1.
So Mark Selby manages to pull a frame back. He'll be happy with that going into the mid-session interval. So we're going to leave things there, but you can continue watching that match over on the red button and on the website. Well, as for later on, Ronnie O'Sullivan is in action against James Cahill. That's a match we're all looking forward to. Let's hear from Stephen Hendry and Steve Davis talking about what makes the Rocket so special.
Ronnie O'Sullivan is the biggest box office draw in the game of snooker.
A genius on the table, controversial and enigmatic off it, he is one of the most successful players in the game's history.
He was a child prodigy, making a maximum break in competition at the age of 15 and dazzling everyone who watched him play.
He turned pro in 1992, and the next year, at the age of 17, he became the youngest ever winner of a ranking title, when he beat me 10-6 in the final of the UK Championship.
In 1995, he also became the youngest ever winner of the Masters, aged 19, a tournament he would go on to win a record 7 times.
When he won the World Championship in 2001, he had completed snooker's Triple Crown. Nearly 2 decades later, he stands alone at the top with 19 of the big 3 titles.
As well as those 7 Masters trophies, he has a joint record 6 UK Championship titles and 5 World titles, the most recent coming in 2013.
But it's not just the titles that define O'Sullivan. His 1997 fastest ever maximum break at the Crucible, made in just 5 minutes and 20 seconds, is one of the most memorable moments in the sport's history.
And the soap opera of Ronnie's life off the table has provided a dramatic backstory to his incredible achievements on it. His mercurial temperament means we are never sure what is going to happen next.
He's in his 40s now, but the Rocket is still providing as much excitement as he did when he burst on the scene nearly 30 years ago.
Well, for me, Stephen, Ronnie's coping with longevity in the game very well. He's got a good balance to his game. He's not playing in everything. He's picking and choosing. Probably the only player capable of doing that.
Yeah, his box office is still the biggest star in snooker. There's no doubt about it. No one can argue with that. He's playing snooker on his terms, which suits him. And he's playing snooker in the way that none of the other players seem to be able to play. He keeps telling us that the result doesn't matter. He's playing whether he wins or loses, he doesn't care. He's playing for the enjoyment, he's playing for the fans. Now, if that's true, what an amazing advantage to have.
It still seems that he's got a better game all round than every other player in the game, which puts everybody on the back foot, and players do seem a little bit frightened of him still.
Yeah, I think Ronnie O'Sullivan on his best game is still that little bit above everyone else. I think that there's still a lot of players that kind of roll over when they play Ronnie, so he's got that advantage over the majority of the field. There's maybe 2 or 3 that he ultimately respects and will never do that.
Guaranteed more tournament victories. What about world champions?
Funny enough, the World Championship, the biggest event, is the one that he's struggled the last couple of years. Now, whether a lot of the tournaments he wins are short races, 5-6 days playing, we all know what a slog the World Championship is, 17 days, so is he up for that anymore?
Really looking forward to seeing the Rocket in action later on. Well, that's it from us. Thank you for your company, John. It's been a pleasure as always. And thank you for yours. And here's what's coming up later. Of course, you can see Ronnie O'Sullivan against James Cahill in action later today at 2:30. But before that, Hazel is back at 1 o'clock in the Winter Garden. She'll bring you up to speed with what's gone on between Mark Selby and Zhao Jingtong. And can John Higgins get the job done against Mark Davis? He currently leads 6 frames to 3. Thanks a lot. We'll see you again later. Good night.